The Buea Diocese has witnessed an increase in its pastoral human resources. This as some 8 deacons were officially inducted into the priestly fraternity in an ordination ceremony that took place at the Divine Mercy Cathedral here in Buea. Plus, the Divisional Officer for Buea, Mr. Abba Abdouraman, awarded Best Advocate for the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic in the region. Welcome to this edition of the English Newscast on High Television with me, Mabel Camden. Many thanks for joining us, and we apologize for the late start of this edition of the news. The Divisional Officer for Buea, Mr. Abba Abdouraman, has been awarded Best Advocate for the fight against the coronavirus pandemic in the region by the International Human Rights Commission to Cameroon. Details with you, Benita Ngiata.
These representatives from the International Human Rights Commission have set out to reward some organizations, entities, and dignitaries, among whom is the Divisional Officer of Goare.
Under the auspices of the United Nations. It works under the goals of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The current Secretary General, His Excellency Sir Rafal Marcin Wasik, is acting as the Secretary General, and he handed a mandate to Mr. Goare Bienvenu to identify stakeholders, individuals, organizations who have been taking a lead against COVID-19 pandemic's effects. So he identified several organizations, entities, dignitaries, among whom was Dio Abba Abdouraman of Buea.
This reward comes in to appreciate the efforts which have been put in place by some dignitaries to combat the COVID-19 pandemic despite the difficulties they face.
The effect are minimal. First of all, the sensitization is a never-ending process, especially the pandemic is still there. We keep on using the various venues we have so that we keep hammering the message as far as sensitization is concerned, but also calling on caregivers. Just this morning I think I received some 2 caregivers that are willing to assist, and our role is also to coordinate to make sure we cover the whole subdivision. Okay, just go this direction, go the other direction.
The pandemic is a world pandemic, so it's not everyone has to do something to push out this pandemic. So that's why even though the means are not a lot, you can do at least something that can help less people and you can protect them concerning this pandemic.
On his part, the Divisional Officer of Buea appreciated this initiative and promised to put in more efforts to serve the people.
I feel very humbled to have received this acknowledgement, this encouragement from the International Human Rights represented by our people here. I feel very humbled, and I also consider it as a call. Whenever you are acknowledged, you want to consider it as a call, because there is a standard you must uphold. So I want to assure those who thought that they should encourage me that I will be up to the task. Now, for the general population, for our collaborators, because what we are able to do is also thanks to those collaborators that are readily available and accompanying us. So the general population, our collaborators, is that in whatever area of life you are, in whatever sphere of life you are, please make sure you are part of the solution. You are part of the solution for your...
This laudable action is therefore a food for thought to encourage the population to put in their best in all they do.
Going to all our amazing leaders out there, that whatever you are doing, you have to be very optimistic and honest, likewise being genuine in what you're doing, because people are watching. Mind us that our actions we take today will determine the reactions we will get tomorrow.
Good deeds indeed bear good fruits. The fight continues as measures are still in place to fight the novel COVID-19 pandemic.
Some 8 deacons have fully been inducted into the priestly fraternity in Buea, in the Buea Diocese. This was during an ordination ceremony that took place at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral in Moliko. While ordaining the priest, the Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese of Buea called on the new Reverend Fathers to dedicate their entire lives to the service of God and not to the vanity of the world. He equally called on the newly ordained to respect their hierarchy and be ready to work wherever the bishop sent them. The occasion brought together Catholic Christians from across Cameroon who joined together in the liturgical ceremony to call on God to bless the new priests as they take their journey to serve mankind. Let's now listen to an excerpt from the Apostolic Administrator, Michael Bibi, as well as some ordained priests.
To remind the deacons who have now been ordained priests about the importance and the necessity of obedience as far as their priestly ministry is concerned. With respect to the magisterium, which is the teaching authority of the church. The priest is supposed to obey the doctrine of the church and to make sure that he teaches that doctrine without talking about his own personal ideas.
This comes from serving the people of God, and true happiness is not seen in attaining wealth or property. We have as our motto that fraternity is better than property, and this fraternity is seen in the people we interact with. Is seen in carrying out the duty which God has given us by the church faithfully.
That as Christians, all that we need is love. If we can love and we can do what Christ himself has commanded us, we'll be able to make it. Remember 1 Corinthians 13:13. It tells us that there are 3 things that last: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. My commitment is to love and to show love to God's people.
Away from Buea and now to Moyoka, where the Senior Divisional Officer for FACO, Emmanuel Ngambaludo, has called on the population of Moyoka subdivision to rally themselves for peace and socio-economic advancement. He was speaking this Wednesday, July 15, 2020, while installing the new Divisional Officer for Moyoka subdivision, Mr. Tani Ako, in a ceremony that took place at the Moyoka Grandstand. Details in the upcoming report.
A square peg in a square hole is the description of the new subdivisional officer for Moyoka by the divisional administrator for FACO during the installation ceremony of the newly appointed this Wednesday, 15 July 2020 at the Moyoka Ceremonial Grandstand.
On the 10th of June 2020, the President of the Republic signed a decree appointing divisional officers throughout the country. By virtue of this important decree, Mr. Tani Roque-Signal Akpo has been appointed as Divisional Officer for Moyoka Subdivision to replace Mr. Besinga Eli Itome, transferred to a Umoja Subdivision.
The civil servant who have served in other functions is a graduate from the National School of Administration and Magistracy and NAM, and equally a holder of master's degree in public law from the University of Yaoundé. The newly installed administrator promised to bring back the peaceful atmosphere and the prosperity of this one-time buoyant subdivision that have been noted over the years.
That roadmap of last June followed in order to merit more than ever before the confidence placed on my humble person for the 18th time by the President of the Republic. Yes, we know the difficulties facing the subdivision, we know the challenges are many, but at least you allow me to get to the office and know the files on the table, and it's only from there that I know how to go about the missions assigned to me.
Being a native from Manu Division of the Southwest region and someone who equally schooled and grew up in Moyoka, the divisional officer promised to make sure Moyoka will be on her feet and be noted for her peaceful coexistence and the prosperity that it's noted for.
The Southwest Regional Delegation of Public Health has received a consignment of relief kits to fight against the COVID-19 in the region, as well as other health-related diseases from the World Health Organization. Beneficiaries of this relief kit says this consignment will go a long way to reignite their fight against the coronavirus pandemic in the Southwest region as well as Cameroon. Details with you, Larry Etengene.
Foods from the World Health. These are medical equipments and other health-related foods from the World Health Organization to the Southwest Regional Delegation for Public Health in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic and other health-related diseases. Receiving the items, the various beneficiaries expressed their gratitude to the benefactor, citing these items will go a long way to boost the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic and other health diseases. With such huge consignment of medical gadgets, this will give a fresh impetus to the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic and other health-related diseases in the region.
That does it for this edition of the news, but before we part company, let's remind ourselves of the major lines. The Buea Diocese has witnessed an increase in its pastoral human resources. These are some 8 deacons were officially inducted into the priestly fraternity in an ordination ceremony that took place at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral here in Buea. The divisional officer for Buea, Mr. Abba, Abdouraman, awarded Best Advocate for the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Many thanks for your kind attention. See you this Friday, God willing. Bye-bye, and stay in the company of more interesting programs. I have been Mabel Camden for this edition of High Prime.